With this video, I'm going to go over for DMA 30 sections 9 and 10. Let's start with section 9. The first 8 questions in section 9 talks about changing a percent to a decimal. And with this process, you would just need to divide the percent by 100. So an example, let's do number 8, an example. So we need to change this percent to a decimal. So even though it's a mixed fraction, we have our calculator. Now I know an example shows us the work as far as showing work, but since you have your calculator and we know how to put mixed numbers in our calculator, we can just change the percent to a to a fraction. So let's go off to the calculator and take 22. So second alpha, the y equals, and then number 2. And we're going to put 22 and 2/9. So that's our percentage. And then remember, since we are changing it to a fraction, and it's in percentage, we always got to to divide by 100. And the answer we're looking for is 2/9. So let's go back to our calculator and divide it by 100. Enter, and here we get 2/9. If it came up to be a decimal, remember hit math, enter, and it will change it to a fraction for you. So let's do another example. Let's go to number 14. So now with problems 9 through 14, we're going to be now changing fractions or decimals into percentage. So you kind of you want to do the opposite. So this time we're going to actually multiply by 100. So we could take our fraction to our calculator. Number 1, so 12 over 11, and we multiply that by 100. And then the my MathFest Plus, they're going to probably ask for a round to the nearest 100 spot. So we go down, we have to look at the decimal in order to know where the 100 spot is. So let's go back and change our calculator to a decimal. So math, this time we hit number 2. And we get 109.09. Remember, the 100 spot is the second place behind the decimal. So that means because this is a 0, this 9 actually stays. So the answer would be 109.09%. So that's going to be our answer for the problem. So this should take you through section 9. It's just, again, changing it from a percent to a decimal to percent, or fractions to percent. And remember, just understanding when to divide by 100 and when to multiply by 100. Now we're going to move to section 10. In section 10, the first 3 problems is they want you just to kind of get an understanding of how to change this sentence, translate this sentence into an equation. And basically, if you write the sentence out and draw little arrows, the 55% stays as is, the of changes to a multiplication sign, and 49 stays as is, and the word is changed to an equal sign. Anytime you see what number, that means the variable x. That's the unknown that we're looking for. So basically, this is what they're asking for in the for the first 3 questions when it says translate. Because right here we don't have to solve for x. They just want us to translate this equation. I'm sorry, this sentence into an equation. So that's the first 3. The next few problems, now we're going to actually solve for x. And one of the best things that to solve for x is to set up the proportion is over of. So let me kind of show you what that looks like, and then we'll go to number 6 and work this problem out. So let me go to here. Okay. So this is what we need to write. We're going to do percent over 100 is equal to is over the of. So I'm going to go back and copy and paste the problem so you can see it. So here's the problem that we're looking at. So we go ahead and write our proportion and fill it in from the problem, from the question. Now, anytime you have in the top left-hand corner, that's always going to be our percent. So whatever the percent is, you go ahead and write it in. You do not have to change anything to a decimal or flip it to an improper or anything like that. You just write it. When we're doing this is over of formula, you leave everything as is. You just write it in the spot that we need to write it in. 100 always stays consistent in the bottom left-hand corner. Now the is, if we go back to our problem, it looks like is going to be 12. The of part here, that looks like it's going to be of what number. Since the of is beside what number and the is besides the 12, it kind of easier for us to place in what we need to. So we don't know what that is, so we write X. When it's come time to solve the problem, what we need to do is make sure we multiply the two numbers we have diagonally. So as you can see, the 12 and the 10 is the numbers I have diagonally. So I'm going to take both of these and multiply them together first. And then whatever number is last, this is the number we're going to divide by. So let's go back to our calculator. And we're going to multiply 100 times 12. And then we're going to divide it by the mixed number of 7 and 1/2. Just to be sure. Yeah. We hit enter to our calculator and we get 160. We go back to our example just to make sure. And we see that 160 is our answer. So again, the viewing example kind of shows it a different way. If you kind of follow what I'm doing on this part here, it'll be a lot easier for you to do for each problem. So let's do another example. I'm gonna go pull from number 11 this time. Copy and paste the problem. To our whiteboard. Okay. So once again, we go ahead and set up our proportion. Remember, it's going to be percent over 100 is equal to is over of. So in this problem here, the percent, it says what percent. So because we don't know the percent, that's going to represent our X. Remember, 100 is always in the bottom left-hand corner. That never changes. Is, where it says is 23.4. And then of 156. So once again, for this problem, these are the two numbers I have that I want to go ahead and multiply first. And then we're going to take the last part here and then divide by the last number. So let's go to our calculator. 100 times 23.4. And then we're going to divide by 156. Hit enter, and our answer should be 15. Let's go back and check. And we get 15%. And notice for this one here, when you're using the method here of the is over of format, you don't have to worry about multiplying it or changing it back to a decimal, anything like that. Like the view example explains, it already produces the 15 for you exactly in the calculator. So that's one of the great things here. You don't have to focus on remembering, do I need to divide by 100 or multiply by 100? Once you set it up in this format, is over of, the x is actually exactly what it's supposed to be, and it's going to be 15%. So I think that we should take care of everything in section 9 and 10 that you need to work on. We can do maybe one more example so you can see. So let's copy and paste this part here. Let's get a new page and paste it. All right. So let's set it up. Proportion 100. Put the percent up here, 5.6. Don't change it. Just leave it exactly at 5.6. This little beautiful technique here will actually do everything for you. Remember, the is goes on top, so it's is 7.84 of what number? X. So we multiply the two numbers that we have, and then we'll come back and divide by this number on the end. So calculator 7.84 times 100 equals, and then we come back and divide by 5.6, and we get 140 to be our answer. So let's go back and check over at the bottom, and we're looking for 140, and there it is. All right, if you have any questions or concerns, please let me know for these two sections.